Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of Whois Talk Podcast. I was going to say mobile. It's normally mobile, but Whois Talk Podcast, where conversations get deep and intellectual. I'm your host, Artemis Caldwell, founder and CEO of Whois Incorporated. Always with me. Y'all already know. Not no but y'all already see where we at. But my co-host, man with the plan, Gabe Coach.
What's going on, y'all?
Come on, man. What's up?
What's good, man? What's good? Y'all see how we done upgraded today?
Oh, man. Look.
Y'all see how we done upgraded. I know we in the real studio
In the
now.
real studio, bro.
Real studio. We ain't in the car no more.
No.
Driving around, wasting gas, hitting potholes and all that
Oh,
stuff.
man. Look, I'm trying to tell you. And then, look, for our very, 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 very first episode in the studio, very special guest, my blood, my cousin, Jay Garrett, man. Hey,
Hey,
you know?
thank you. Hey, man, it's my honor that I'm here, you know what I'm saying, with Gabe and, you know what I'm saying, Artemis. And my honor being here.
Hey, we speechless with you.
Hey.
I didn't expect this.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, bro.
I didn't expect this.
We here.
It's
Yeah.
nice.
So, man, I thought I was gonna feel a little different. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, I ain't gonna be. I feel good.
I do too.
I'm nervous.
A little nervous.
Yeah. I don't even know why.
I don't know, man.
Probably just my, you know, new environment, just first
It's
time,
real now.
you
We
know.
real.
Shit.
I'm telling you.
I feel like this is the start of the pathway up
Ah, man.
for the podcast, you feel me?
Man.
You know? Some good energy.
Great energy,
Real
man.
good energy.
I'm glad y'all here for this, man. It's been a long time. Long time coming. But without further ado, just to let's go ahead and get into it, bro. Because you brought this this conversation up, and I just wanted to feed off this good energy that we got going in, bro. Spiritual warfare. So, but I want to talk about it in a way that I just heard it. Offense and defense. You know what I'm saying? So when we talk about this conversation, again, Whois Talk Podcast is one of those podcasts where we get deep and intellectual. We open up a channel of conversation for people to really express themselves on ideas that are controversial, that people really don't take the time out to think about. So this is what this is. You know what I'm saying? So when we break it down, I like to just jump into it, man. I'm super excited.
Yeah.
First episode here, bro. Like, so first off, I want to ask y'all again, man. Spiritual warfare. What is the spirit? Let me ask that. What is the spirit before we even jump into this conversation and get lost? We gonna grab everybody, okay? So, Jay, you being our guest, let me hear what you got. The spirit. What is?
Okay, like, first of all, I got this out of I Googled the spirit, right?
That's cool. I think I should do that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I have the non-physical part of a person, which is the seat of emotions and character, the soul, and what I get from that is my emotions, rational thinking, you know.
I feel that.
You know, just
I feel that.
because I'm learning as I go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm getting educated. You know what I'm saying, as we speak as well. So, man,
That non-physical, bro. I feel that. I feel that. Just on the tip of like, what when you talk about the spirit, then you touch on the soul. I was gonna say, like, is that the same thing? Because I know a lot of people really feel like they be the same. Like, what's the saying? Two heads of the same coin.
Yeah.
Okay. Gabe, what you think, bro? What's the spirit?
I'm a believer of that the spirit is truly who you are. as we see what we see as in ourselves right now, our physical bodies, this is not us. This is just what we have been placed on this earth with. It's basically a spacesuit that allows us to live here on this planet. But within this is our spirit. And the spirit is truly who we are. We are as people. You know what I'm saying? The spirit is what God has placed us, on this earth. And this body that we have is just a venue for our spirit to be here on earth. So, yeah, the spirit is truly who you are as a person. And the body is just an expression of your spirit, or just a vehicle for your spirit to move here on the earth.
Oh, okay. Because you did bring this conversation up. I feel that. So I believe the spirit is, like if we had an incense, you know what I'm saying? That smoke that come off the incense, if we could just like embody that, like just grab just a smoke that's coming off, I feel like that would be the spirit. You know what I'm saying? What's on the inside of us, just that smoke. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like the spirit is just like, when we say spirit, I mean it's like experience, like the ultimate experience. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the spirit doesn't have like a true purpose. I may get some backlash for this, but just hear me out. I feel like the spirit is, when we talk about it, it's the supreme experience that we want out of life. So that's when you get this whole concept of when people say like, oh, I'm a free spirit. You know what I'm saying? That's that general, I want to just experience life. So when you say spirit, to me, that just means experience, fully experience.
Okay.
I see you want to jump in on that.
Yeah, so I disagree with that.
Okay, okay.
I believe that the spirit is here with the purpose. And then that purpose is our gifts, right? So we all have different talents and different gifts that we're all just naturally born with. Right. It doesn't necessarily have to be like, okay, I know how to, what's a good example? Like me, for example, I like to code. I'm a coder, computer programmer and everything like that. Okay. But that's a gift of creation. That's a gift of building. Because when I look back on my childhood, that's all I like to do was playing dirt. I like to play with Legos and build things and everything like that.
Okay.
So I believe your purpose is a part of, or your gifts are a part of your purpose. And your spirit, you've come here with those gifts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I believe that your spirit does have a purpose. But all too often, we get caught up in the world and we don't realize what our gifts are, and we don't realize what our purpose on this earth is. Okay. Because basically when you put it like that, it's like, for example, okay, we see people who are always complaining about working a 9-to-5 job or working at a job or something that they don't like.
Right.
That's a job, but you know what I'm saying? You don't like it because you're not using your gifts. You're not in your purpose. You know what I'm saying? You complain about it because you don't like to do it, because your spirit is yearning to do what it's truly here to do. It's yearning to use its gifts. You know what I'm saying? Like we hear the saying all the time, so many people leave here with so much inside of them. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's the spirit willing to or desiring to release the gifts that it has onto the planet. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what we're here for. We're here to use our gifts to make the world better. We're here to create. We're here to build. We're here to do things like that. You know what I'm saying? So
my argument would go toward, okay, the soul. See, I just say the spirit is what is the experience. Not to say I did say purposeless, but to say, like, going back to what Jay said, the emotions, the rawness of who you are. That's what your spirit is. I would say the soul is where those gifts come from. Because I wanted to ask you, so is the spirit and the soul the same thing?
I believe they are.
Okay, so you believe they're synonymous.
Yeah,
okay.
Until I learn something different, I believe that the spirit and the soul are the same thing. Right?
Okay, see, because I believe that the spirit and the soul are two separate things, because when they say mind, body, soul, or mind, spirit, soul, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They always breaking into those three. Mm-hmm. And I always wondered, like, well, what makes each one different? I know the mind is of the body. You You know what I'm saying? And then I know the spirit, okay, there has to be something inside. You know what I'm saying? So then what makes the soul? The soul got to be what's inside of the inside. You see what I'm saying? So when your spirit is not necessarily in jeopardy, but when your spirit is doing something outside of itself, that's just going with the flow of things. You feel what I'm saying? And it's like in going with the flow of things, you just going with it. You may not be living it like how people are complaining about the 9 to 5. Going back to the example, you just going with it. You just going with the flow. So many people, like you said, so many people die with the things that they need.
Yeah, it's doing what the world tells you to do.
Yeah. So by doing that, that's your spirit. Your spirit just want to go jump with the wave, but your soul, your essence, or whatever gifts you came with, whatever makes you you, that's what's gonna make you be like, nah, this ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like, you could touch on that on the tip of, like, just jumping into different ventures and whatnot. So I want to ask you, how, going out into the world, how do you, because all right, so we got a definition of what, we got a general base of what the spirit is. And we talked about the soul a little bit. What is it? How do I protect that? You know what I'm saying? Like, because, Gabe, I want to know why you brought up spiritual warfare, but just before we dive straight into, because I know I just jumped into it, I'm just super excited just to be here for real, y'all. Mm-hmm. Like, we at the studio. Can I give, like, just a hand clap for that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We in here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, but I just want to know, how do we protect ourselves against bad energy or bad vibes? You know what I'm saying? How do we do that?
From my experience, like I said once before, like, I'm learning as we go. Like, I'm literally learning. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. You're waking me up. Like, I'm becoming more woke-ish.
Okay.
And, like, as I listen to, you know what I'm saying, you two speak, I'm going back in time trying to touch my emotions and feelings that I didn't even know existed. I felt the energy, but I just didn't know the names or the definitions of how I was feeling. But getting back to, like, for example, like me, you know, whenever I would see, you know, like, you know, sadness.
Yeah.
You know, going to funerals. You know, just, you know, just always hearing, you know what I'm saying, pessimistic things and just growing up in poverty. You know, like, I would look at, like, I saw it so much to where I grew numb to it, to where I started seeing humor in it. So I started to find humor in things that would make me seem sad. And then I had to turn that to use it for positive. You know, like,
Yeah.
And those were things I had to find humor in things. So, you know, in order for me to accept reality, because sometimes reality is a hard pill to swallow.
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? You know, everybody can't handle reality. You know, like, some people can, you know, process it, some can't. But, like, what I mean to say is, like, that's where, like, I started seeing humor, and it kind of made me like, you know what, just talk about what we always see and just teach it from a humorous side, because I know it's somebody else that feel like you. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know, just a different way of teaching. You know,
so your armor, so your protection to defend your spirit was humor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not like you made a joke out of everything, but you turned whatever was attacking what was against your success or was against you. You just flipped that and made that into something to make you stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I feel that. Okay. I'm funny, but I ain't that funny, so I don't think I can.
You know, like for example, like whenever I used to get whoopings, you know.
Okay.
And you know, I can just go back and, you know, I can see the look on my mother's face. Like I can improv the look, you know, how she used to look when she, you know, you can see that look when, you know, when you finna get in trouble. You know, I would find humor in that. I would just you know, raising kids, you know, you know, you can see the fear in the child. And I could see like I could see the humor in it, but you know, but it could be terrifying to the child.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I just can find the humor in the you know, in the terror, and then just kind of flip it. Mm-hmm. So it's a reality, but it's more like you know, we can laugh at reality. You know, so that would be me. That would be my defense to, you know, to protect my emotions or to protect my sanity. Mm-hmm. You know, I would, you know, not laugh disrespectfully, but just be more like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Let me talk about this. Let me take this on stage, or let me put it in some poetry, or let me, you know, so.
Most definitely. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Gabe, why are we talking about spiritual warfare? What?
I believe it's an important topic, because we got to realize that the things that we see in the world that we're going through is bigger than just what we see in the physical. You know what I'm saying? It's not just what we think or what we can see with our eyes. If we look at Ephesians 6, verse 12, it says, "For we don't fight against flesh and blood, but we fight against evil spirits."
Okay.
Evil spirits of the world. 100%. So everything that we see that's going on with the world, that's going wrong with the world, is not that's not the big picture. The big picture is what we can't see. You know what I'm saying? That's what we fight against, and that's why I brought this topic up, because I believe it's important, because I don't think that people are truly aware of that. I think that people are just looking at the world as like, okay, we got good people and bad people. Why? Why do we have good people and bad people? You know what I'm saying? There are things out there that have been here for thousands of years. There are beings that have been here for thousands of years that are more intelligent than us, more smarter than us, and those are the things that we wrestle against. You know what I'm saying? Spirits have just like we were talking about outside. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting the warfare against demonic spirits, no matter how big or how small. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Just like what we talked about, the spirit of laziness. When you know you got something important to do, but you don't do it because you just don't feel like it, that's a demonic spirit of laziness that's coming upon you, preventing you from doing that, or giving you the desire to want to deter from what you're actually supposed to do, something that's supposed to be productive. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you believe in the devil?
I believe in the devil in terms of demonic spirits. I believe that we do fight against, or I believe that demonic spirits are a real thing.
So it's like the devil as a collective. So like not just one individual man, but like this group of demonic spirits make up the devil.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
If you want to put it in that type of context.
Okay.
So, yeah, like that's what we're really going through. You know what I'm saying? We ain't just fighting against people. You know what I'm saying? It's something that's bigger than people that is influencing people to do what they do. It's influencing groups of people to do what they do. You know what I'm saying? So,
I have a question. Would a person that's unaware of, you know, would that be like considered demonic, of just being like, you know, just not demonic, but just being unaware, like not knowing, like for instance, like right now I know it's bacteria in the room that I can't see. It's like more than meets the eye. Right. You know what I mean? So like ever since I heard of COVID, now I look at, you know what I'm saying, like I tune in more to things more because I was unaware.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like a person that's unaware of the just unaware of the spirits, or just not knowing how to defend themselves, because it's like you can't. It's like to me, it's impossible to, fix anything if you haven't been diagnosed. You know what I mean? Like if you're not aware of it, would that be bad?
Yeah, it's still
You know what
bad.
I mean?
It's like ignorance is not. What do they say?
Ignorance is bliss.
Or no, ignorance is. It doesn't matter if you're ignorant. If you commit a crime, you commit a crime, and you still have to reap the consequences of it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So if you're unaware of that you're fighting a spiritual battle, it don't matter.
Right.
You still. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. You just don't know you in the war. You just don't know you in the battle right now. But you in it.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you in it. You
I was
just
gonna
don't know.
say that. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay.
So you still get the same consequences whether you're aware or unaware.
Okay. I was gonna say no, but all right. Beat me to a game.
I think we need a hand clap for that.
Look,
Man,
cause
right now, cause I'm telling you, like everything is like I'm waking up, my third eye, like bing, 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 and I'm going back like, whoa, like being lazy or I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm waking up, and sometimes like I have a fear of being too woke-ish, because my mind get to. I might get to tripping, and I might feel like I might lose my sanity, because now I know, you know what I'm saying, like too much. And I might be like, damn, now I'm tripping off of.
I'd rather know too much than too less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'd rather know everything than nothing.
I say this, I'd rather know what I need to know than know everything.
Yeah.
Because sometimes too much information can be detrimental too.
Yeah, it can.
You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like going back to that ignorant person, like if you don't know and it was never brought to you, like you just like a lamb to the slaughter. You know what I'm saying? You just out here like a baby in the street. You know what I'm saying? A baby in traffic. But that's on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Because you know what, like, not to cut you off, Artemis, but like, it seems like the more wokish I get, sometimes it brings depression. Because
that's Dre Scott.
And not to, get off course, because I'm gonna get back on course, but like the moment I found out Santa Claus wasn't real,
you said that.
I was like, whoa, because that was you know what I'm saying, I was looking forward to 2 weeks out of school, and I really believe it. So it's like, some things I'm like, damn, was life better to me mentally when I didn't know? And then when I do, find something out, now I'm like, just some bullshit.
Yeah, that's
know what I mean? So
that's Dre Scott. He said, who more depressed? The man who know he a slave, or the slave who don't know he a slave? You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The slave, he feel like this was supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is life. Versus the free man, or the man who know he a slave, he like, hey man, I know I ain't built to be whipped, stripped down, you know what I'm saying, taken from my wife and kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that's not right. So it's like, who more depressed?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you learned, like you said, detrimental. Just because you taught me about freedom and now I don't have it, that makes me sad now. Right. What was the purpose of you teaching me freedom? You know what I'm saying?
But at the same time, sometimes you do need to know information that may make you feel a little bit sad, a little bit uneasy, to inspire you to do something about it.
True.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Sometimes you do need those emotions so that you can take action on fixing the problem.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's cool. That's cool. Like, I'm all right with suffering for a little bit to get to a better spot. You got to do that anyway. You know what I'm saying? Anything that you want to do.
Okay.
You want to start a business, for
I wouldn't
example.
say suffer. I say sacrifice. I feel like it's a negative stigma on suffering.
Suffering and sacrifice, they can't. Well, not
I was about to say
necessarily.
that's not synonymous. No.
Sure, I'll say okay. Let's go with sacrifice.
I was about to say, because suffering, you don't gotta beat me up so I could get a Range Rover.
I mean,
I just saved my money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but even though in that, it may be a form of suffering, right? You saving your money, you might not be able to go out to eat
sacrifice.
and do all of that stuff that you want to do.
Classify that as sacrifice.
But sometimes with sacrifice comes suffering, though.
Yeah.
When you fast, for example, I fast.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? When I ain't eating, I'm suffering. Right. I'm hungry. I want to eat.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm choosing. It's you have chosen sacrifices. Yeah.
Right. You've chosen that sacrifice to do.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah.
So that's what I'm. So again, how do I protect myself? Like, okay, I know you bringing in the Bible, you bringing in the freelancing. I'm learning as I go. Like, how do I? So with Whois, I live my life with 15 days, and it's this 15-day program called the Code of Harmony. So we would take 15 days and have you go through this program of just outlining how to be positive, how to act selfless, understand positive and negative consequences. You see what I'm saying? And we will have you go through this, and this will kind of shape your like who you are, your character a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And it'll have you like for real, give you that armor or sense of self that you would need in going into the world. So like my armor would be like that part. You know what I mean? So it's like, how do you know what I'm saying? How do I effectively, like, okay, here come a demon. How do I recognize that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand it's a like important conversation, but people ain't going to church no more. You know what I'm saying? I ain't listening to my pastor for real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
But look at the world though, and even with that, a lot of churches nowadays, they ain't, you know what I'm saying? They ain't really productive either. But me, I'm a believer that the only way we can fight against this is through Jesus Christ and our Lord and Savior who is in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our Father God. Yeah. And I believe that that's the only way, because one, I even in just in my experiences, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen my mother be healed of 2 heart attacks. You know what I'm saying? My mother had 2 heart attacks about almost a decade ago. And you know what I'm saying? Her and my father, they prayed over her for her healing. She went back to the doctor because, you know, when you have a heart attack, you have a scar in your heart. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that, no.
Yeah, you have a scar on your heart when you have a heart attack. After the second one that she had, and the second one she didn't even know she had, but after that one, you know what I'm saying, a couple years later, she went back for some treatment or something like that, and they said, your heart looks like you've never had a heart attack before. And all they did, and all my mom and my dad did, was just have faith in her healing through Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying?
What you think about the power of manifest, like the power of like law of attraction and stuff like that?
All that comes from God. All of that is in the Bible.
Really? Okay.
Yes. All of that is in the Bible. All of that comes from God. You know what I'm saying? Like all of this stuff that we try and detach a lot of things in the Bible as if it didn't come from the Bible. Because we think that we've been programmed to think that this whole religion thing is what's really holding us back. But yet we look at today and we more messed up than ever before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We are more messed up than ever before.
Now, when you say we, who? You talking about blacks or you talking about the world?
Specifically us, yes, but even the world. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Even on the world, we look at what's happening today. All we see is war. You know, people waging wars, poverty, you know what I'm saying, greed, all of these things that are demonic spirits that that have a grip on people of the earth. You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely, yeah.
So all of that stuff basically that we talk about, the law of attraction, manifesting and everything like that, that is of God. God gave us the power to create. He like it says in the Bible, you know what I'm saying?
Go ahead.
It says in the Bible, God created us in his image, in his likeness. That means here on earth, we have the power to create. We have the power to build, manifest, and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? We just got to understand, because there's laws to this. You know what I'm saying? There's laws to attraction. There's laws to manifesting. There's laws to things like that. You know what I'm saying? But all of that comes from God. And that is a part of God's law. God wants us to be prosperous. He wants us to be fruitful. He says, be fruitful and multiply.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. So it's like all of these things that we try and detach from the Bible and religion comes from that. You know what I'm saying? That's where we got it from.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know what? Gabe, he's right, because I'm coming to realization that whatever I go through, emotions, it's going to lead back to the Bible.
Okay.
Know what I mean? Like I say once before, I was unaware. You know, so when I was asleep, if that's what we call it, it's like I didn't know where to even search for, you know, whatever. But you know what I'm saying. But now that I'm, you know what I'm saying, like mentally aware, my self-awareness is like to the roof now.
Yeah.
Because I'm no longer looking for everything else. Where I, you know, just
you know what to look for now.
Yeah, like worldly things.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like, okay, worldly, you know, things are, you know, kind of get boring now. Because, you know, it's like a 360 once you see everything. Mm-hmm. Now I'm like, you know, now that I'm aware of my emotions, I know me more. Mm-hmm. And then the more I know me, the more my connection, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, just me learning me, it goes back to the Bible. So it's like now I'm starting to understand it more because I know me, because they say we are we self-image, right, of you know, of God. So now I'm like, the more I learn me, you know, my flaws, my you know, just understanding my you know, just my strengths and my weaknesses, and being okay with it.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying? I can tune in to the spirit, the energy, or you know what I'm saying? It's like I'm tuning in more. So it's like I'm on this different frequency of like, whoa. Mm-hmm. It goes back. It, like everything that Gabe said, it's going back. Like everything that we come across is gonna go right back to the Bible.
I feel that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, as far as like religion, I know how my mind was, and the reason why I was kind of reluctant, not against, but reluctant, because I don't like control.
Yeah.
So I looked at religion. I'm looking at it from a wrong standpoint, and the reason why I had something against, not against. I was never against religion, but I was against control. Because when I was in prison, I didn't like control. I was always controlled. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When I was married, I felt like, honey, I'm home. I'm leaving. I'm this and so I felt like, why I just can't leave and just
be cool.
Do what the hell I wanted. I'm tired of explaining shit to everybody.
Yeah.
But religion, like I just realized that it's not about that, because I have to answer to somebody. Mm-hmm. Everything has to open up a door to get to another level. So now I'm like, okay, I got to go back to him, to God, to the Bible. Like, you have to go back to him. And this is just my understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because, you know.
And just to say what you said about, you know, religion and I guess taking away our freedom. What people don't understand about freedom is that freedom comes with rules and responsibilities.
Absolutely.
You ain't just out here.
Hand
you
clap.
ain't.
Hand clap.
It does.
You ain't just out here free roaming, doing whatever you want, and thinking you not about to reap some of the consequences. Like, you just can't. Even if we didn't have laws, you can't go out here and kill somebody's family member and think that you ain't gonna reap the consequences from that. Yeah. That comes with rules and that comes with rules, responsibility, and consequences. So it's like the misconception that we have today in the world is that I can be free to do whatever I want,
free of consequence.
Well, free of consequences, and just do whatever I want, and nothing bad can happen to me. I can only reap the good. You know what I'm saying? But life don't work like that. Life don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah.
I had a friend of mine. Her nephew was out robbing people. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I'm gonna turn my life around. Everybody like, that's great. But I believe like a week or a day after, he got killed by the dudes he was robbing.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Don't nobody care you turned over your life. So like you said, like to reap no consequence. Like you can't just rob me yesterday and think like, oh, just because you praise God now, I'm not finna get mine back. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Your past still, it's a ripple effect from your past.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just and I see what you mean by spirits though, because that's the spirit of vengeful spirit. You know what I'm saying? If you go looking for revenge, dig 2 graves. That's what they always say. You know, and I just feel like it's a lot of I ain't picking on you, cuz, but it's a lot of dead people that's alive. You feel what I'm saying? That's walking around.
Yeah.
On the tip of like to not know, and like I feel that like this water bottle. You know what I'm saying? Like our essence is in this bottle. Who we are is her. You know what I'm saying? And for you not to know that it's things on the outside trying to get in. You know what I'm saying? I can't, not to say I can't get with it, but it just be like, man, how can't you see the control? Or you use that person to see that, oh man, this how deep control can go.
People think that they're free, but they're really being controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People are really being controlled by demonic spirits, thinking that I'm just freely doing whatever I please to do. Do you know what's inside of you when you're doing certain things? Do you know if that's even you? Like what we was just talking about there. Sometimes you will see on like First 48 or something like that. Somebody had killed somebody, and the killer's narrative will be, I don't know what came over me.
Right.
That wasn't me. His family will even attest to it that that's not him. He's never even showed any signs or something like that. That's a demonic spirit.
You seen that new movie, The Conjuring, the third one coming out?
Nah,
I'm not seen it, but the title is The Devil Made Me Do It.
Do it. Yeah.
That's real.
Okay.
Like that's a real thing, bro.
All right. You know,
That's a
back in the
real
day,
thing.
they used to say, like, if it was a full moon, you know, they call it being moonstruck. You could, like, people, like, a lot of crime go on during the full moon. Did you know that?
Yeah, I heard that before. Yeah.
Is that a demonic spirit, too, you think?
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say the full moon is a demonic spirit or nothing like that.
Well, what come over those people to do.
But
things
yeah,
like
what
that.
comes over people to do certain things that they do that are evil, those are demonic spirits. Because think about it. When we're born as children, a child is pure.
Right. Most
A child
definitely.
A child doesn't understand. A child doesn't even have a desire to kill anybody.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? A child is trying to learn how to walk and learn what the world is like and everything like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We only get like that when we get older and when we get exposed to certain worldly things that are not healthy for our spirits. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like alcohol. You ain't gotta go out and drink every weekend. That ain't really what you want to do.
Right.
You really want to go out and do something productive. You really want to go out there and use your gifts that you've been given to by God that's in your spirit. But we have, just like we said, we have demonic spirits that are here that come into us, whether big or small, that keep us from doing certain things or give us unhealthy desires.
Right. Okay.
That's an unhealthy desire to want to go out and drink every weekend and get drunk and do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Even drinking, alcoholism, you're opening yourself up to other spirits, to demonic spirits to come over you. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who black out when they drink and they do crazy things or whatever when they drunk off some Hennessy or some Remy or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's a demonic spirit. That's a demonic spirit. And by you drinking that alcohol, you just open up yourself for him and his friends to come into you.
Right.
Because they got partners too. They got homies too. Best believe that.
How you feel about Halloween?
That's a pagan holiday.
Okay, I'm just talking.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
Yeah.
Give me 5 things that you stand for.
Man, I stand for integrity, love, laughter, respect, and reputation.
Okay. Because I want to talk about what does reputation mean to you?
I would say, like reputation to me, like let's say like if it came to family.
Okay.
Let's say if like for example, if my kids money end up missing and they like want nobody here but dad. And then it's like, they get to looking at you like that question you like, is dad really? It's like, I don't even, I don't move like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just you being a good guy. You know what I mean?
Wouldn't you think that's more so character than reputation?
Yeah, it could be character too. I guess like sometimes I realize like everything has a counterpart to it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like everything is kind of like connect the dots. You know what I'm saying? Like if you got integrity, it's gonna connect to, it overrides to, like even just love, respect, like it all. You know what I'm saying? Touch is it's like counterpart, like the bones to your body, like
I feel that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like reputation to me, that's everything. I know when we hear reputation, we think about like it's got to be like like some streetish or like it's got to be negative. Now like you got people that's genuinely they care about you. Or you got
good people.
Good people. So if somebody tell me like, hey, Artemis did this or just I'd be like, what? No, you can't make me think because I know his character. Mm-hmm. That's his reputation. Of what I'm saying. You always been just assertive or conservative or so. If I heard anything that's I'm gonna be like, nah.
Oh, me,
you can't change my mind. Yeah. I just know how he. So to me, I like to because people we talk about each other, what I'm saying? We talk behind each other's backs. It's just, what I'm saying? It don't have to be negative.
Right.
So if I tell somebody, hey man, Artemis got Who It Is Thursdays, make sure you pull up. I'm talking behind your back because it's word of mouth now.
Right.
So your reputation that's and he does poetry. So that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I brought that up just on the tip of like because I know we all as men know the saying, man that don't stand for something fall for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So just going back to that armor, I'm just trying. I see what just trying to put into the urges for all our listeners and people like that. What avenue to take? Because going back to what you said, it's okay to not necessarily not know, but to learn as you go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So for the person who looking at this conversation like, oh man, I need an intro to spiritual warfare. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What is the spirit? How do I even begin to understand that? How do I wake up? How do I go to the Bible? You know what I'm saying? How do I begin to understand myself? You know what I'm saying? So then when you introduce yourself to yourself, mm-hmm. aka Whois,
right.
It's that process of learning and knowing the difference between growth and change. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It'd be like what you need to know is gonna present itself, like you said. What you need to know is gonna present itself, and that it's okay to, again, learn as you go, but it's also okay to not know where you're going, but right. You just got to keep going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And because it's one of those, because when we say faith, like real quick, the faith is like seeing is like believing before seeing.
Yeah.
Right. And so with that being said, okay, if people have that type of energy, how come it's so hard for you to direct that energy into something positive for your life? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's where that spiritual warfare question would come from with me. You know what I'm saying? Everything against my productivity is evil. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we got the magnifying glass with the circle. Just everything outside of that. I found who you are, and everything outside of that ain't you. Or you need to know you like this your space. You know what I'm saying? I got 15 days, 5 rules, and 2 guidelines. And it's just like real quick, like the 15 days, they are like dedications. That way to keep your daily focus. So like day 1, enlightenment. 2, wisdom. Day 3, determination. Day 4 is courage. Day 5 is cultivate. Day 6 is attitude. 7 is persistence. 8 is belief. 9 is growth. 10 is confidence. 11 is drive. 12 is change. And then you got 13 is consciousness. 14 is spirit. And then 15 is body.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And I use those words or different dedications to make sure you follow what it is, that path to help you be better. You know what I'm saying? Real quick, like days 1 through 4 are dedicated enlightenment through courage. You know what I'm saying? I'm taking you from an idea to a feeling. You see what I'm saying? So day 1, I ask, how can you make yourself better? You see what I'm saying? So let's write down all the things you can make yourself better. Day 2, wisdom. Let's add on to the things that, okay, you say you want a car. Okay, let's just come day 1, what you want to do. I want to make my life better. I want a car. Okay, cool. Day 2, let's add wisdom to it. What type of car?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Okay, now day 3, determination. Okay, let's go. You probably don't got the money for it, but let's go to the car lot. Or let's go, you know what I'm saying, go get a newspaper and see the cost. You know what I'm saying? So you can start pricing it. Day 4, courage. That's reasons versus results. Now, reasons don't matter. You see what I'm saying? But your results do. Did you go do this? You see what I'm saying? And those lessons help develop you. You see what I'm saying? To let you know, like, are you really about what it is that you're about, first off? And that's how I learned your desire. You see what I'm saying? And then from there, days 5 through 8, cultivate. You already been doing. You just learned something about yourself. You know what I'm saying? Cultivate and develop. Then we do 6, attitude, positive detachment. Now you learning how to see what's affecting me. And that's that inside. That's the inside. And now we learning about the outside. You see what I'm saying?
Exterior.
Yeah, that positive detachment. Because when you say detachment, now you're thinking of, like you said, when you're thinking about the Bible, a lot of people want to take away from it, but don't want to give it its credit. You see what I'm saying?
Or don't want to fully follow the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fully live by it, you know?
And that's just like, all right, well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not like they like, so it's just like, like you gotta pay homage to where you get that information. You see what I'm saying? And really what I wanted to get at was just more so like with these days and these 5 rules, the 5 rules are: rule number 1, stay ready so you don't never gotta get ready. Rule number 2 is play the long game, win the war, not the battle. See what I'm saying? Then rule number 3, self-preservation. Rule number 4 is spread peace, not war. Don't make an enemy you can't walk away from. Rule number 5 is peace of mind is God-given. You know what I'm saying? So everybody deserves that. So
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because that is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true. That's the only way I've ever gotten peace of mind.
Yeah.
Like, just in my experience, bro, like I was fighting for that up until I just said, you know what, I'm going to give this to God.
There you go. Yeah.
I'm going to give this to God. I'm going to surrender myself and pray about it. And it happened instantly. You know what I'm saying? You're right about that. Peace of mind only comes from God.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because too often we have things that are in us or on our minds that we just trying to fight, but we just trying to fight it by ourselves. You know what I'm saying? We can't do it. Like I said, it's a spiritual battle. We can't fight that by ourselves.
I most definitely cannot.
We ain't smart enough. We ain't been here long enough. We ain't intelligent enough to fight this spiritual warfare simply just by ourselves.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, that's why you got to know you before you get to the battlefield, you got to already know what it is you up against. You know what I'm saying? So, like, or have a sense of self. Don't just show up on I'd rather be a warrior in the farm than a farmer on the battlefield. Ain't that? You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So, that's how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Jay, give me one word to describe your life.
I would say courageous.
Courageous.
And I guess the reason why I say that is, I mean, like everything that has came my way, you know, like I always took accountability. You know, just really like what can I say? Like, okay, like I rewind it back, like just not having a father in the household, you know, like I never really let that just like mess me up because I didn't have, you know, memories to hold on to nothing, because memories is emotions, and then whatever your emotions are, it moves you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Motion, energy, motion.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, well, you know, because, you know, some people be kind of, you know, messed up behind it. You know, some people, you know, they be distraught. They, you know, they hold on to it. They try to use it for as an excuse to be whatever because the father isn't there.
Right.
But I just accepted it. Like, okay, all right, cool. So courageous, I guess you can call it that. And then just being unaware. You know what I'm saying? I was cool with like I didn't know I was unaware, but now I'm like, damn, all this time I've been asleep. You know what I mean? So instead of beating myself up, it's like, okay, well, I did pretty well being asleep.
There you go.
But now that I'm woke, let's like, all right,
Let's do some woke
let's
stuff.
do some woke stuff now. You know what I'm saying? Kids, you know, divorce. You know what I'm saying? Handling everything. You know, trying to be positive at a moment in your life where everything feel like it's just falling apart, like everything just feel like it's just spiraling out of control, and you like, oh, like you trying to grab these pieces and put this puzzle together, but everything just keep collapsing. You know what I'm saying? Kept a positive mind on that. You know, just dealing with demons. You know, to my understanding, just being, you know, just running, you know, facing everything that I had to deal with versus just running. You know,
I feel that.
So I call it courageous. Even like right now, you know what I'm saying? Just being open-minded to, you know, to what we're talking about now, just spirits. Like, I'm like, damn, I always heard about spirits, but it's just now we're getting to the core of it. Like I always, you know, I always scratch the surface of spirits. Like I heard, and then just going back from, you know, watching movies, and, you know, whatever you watch plays on your mental so long to where you, spirit, now you ready to run from it. Because I seen it in some, you know, a scary movie or whatever, but really it's not that bad. You know what I mean? So now it's like just being educated and getting to the core of the spirit. I'm being courageous right now, just being open-minded and letting it process. You know what I'm saying?
On me. Gabe, one word to describe your life.
One word to describe my life. I'm trying to sum it up in one word. I guess like I want to say risky, but I don't really want to use that word.
Okay.
I want to say that because it's like all my life, and I ain't even gonna say all my life, but most of my 20s, I'm 26. Like, I've never been afraid. Like, I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I've been, working on this since I was 20, right? I've never been, like, afraid of that, like, uncertainty of not always knowing where the next check gonna come from, not always knowing where how I'm a, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you ain't gonna know how you gonna pay the bills this month.
True.
Sometimes you don't know where that rent money gonna come from. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
Right.
But that's where faith and action comes in. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You gotta have faith that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you gotta have faith that, you know what I'm saying? Regardless of your current circumstances, you gotta have faith, like real faith, and really believe, like faith to the point to where the opposite don't even come into your mind. Faith to the point to where you might even look crazy to some people.
On me.
You know what I'm saying?
On me.
And you gotta use faith to take action. You know what I'm saying? Because you only can exercise faith with action. You feel me? If you ain't taking action, you ain't got faith. Mm-hmm. You feel me?
I'm gonna let that ride for a second. I see you got your preacher boots on.
Yeah.
Let them use you. No, I'm just playing. That's weird.
But yeah, like if you ain't got faith if you ain't taking action. You can say you believe all you want to. You can say that, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, say I got rent money due in a week.
Okay.
I can say, you know what? My rent $1,500 this month. I'm going to get it. I'm going to be all right. But you just sitting on the couch.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Scared to go out and try something or do something or just do what you got to do because, you know what I'm saying, for whatever reason. You just ain't got, you say you got faith, but you ain't got it.
Right.
Because you ain't taking action on it.
I feel that.
You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing. The true sum of faith is what actions that you take. Your actions reflect what you say you're faithful to, you know? So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Because I most definitely... No. I wanted to give you those. I wanted to give you that. I wanted to just jump in on that tip just on the... you ever heard the story? You ever heard the story of the Chinese bamboo tree?
Mm-hmm. No. Educate me.
Okay, so the Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow. Okay, it don't break ground until the 5th year. All right, when it break ground, it takes 5 weeks to grow 90 feet. All right, yeah, now that's something for you. So when you talk about faith, that's what I think about. So going into the program for like Whois, when I say wisdom, that's what I think about that Chinese bamboo tree on the tip of, if you see me go outside for 4 years straight, watering the ground, and ain't nothing coming, but I'm telling you, it's finna be a tree here. And this tree gonna be big. It's gonna be a lot of them. But I've been out here for 4 years talking to you, trying to explain to you. You know what I'm saying? But then on that 5th year, you see, oh, okay. And now all of a sudden, oh, bro, now you ain't talking about me no more. Now you showing me love. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So I feel like I just feel like to wrap up the conversation on the tip of, because I know we can talk about this for days and we just scratching the surface. But I feel like in order for us to, whatever avenue we pick to follow and choose how to protect ourselves, whether it be going out and getting the armor ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Let's get going out, getting the knowledge. Or rather be already having the knowledge at your disposal. That's having the Bible and having the spiritual grounds, you know what I'm saying, for what it is that you stand for. Or whether you come to your own, not like that, but come to your own knowledge and believe your own philosophies and your own mystic ways, you know what I'm saying? Or spiritual ways. With those, like, I just feel like whatever armor you put on, you still have to protect yourself on the tip of still being close to that righteousness. Like, don't wake up and want to go punch a baby.
Right.
All right. You know what I'm saying? But whatever gets me to that eternal peace and happiness on the inside, you know what I'm saying, where you smile more than you mug, that's what you should be geared toward. You know what I'm saying? And striving for. You know what I'm saying? And protecting yourself with, or protecting that from everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
But even with knowledge, you still have to be careful. You know what I'm saying?
That is true.
Because you're not supposed to know everything.
Okay.
You're not supposed to know everything. Like, if we look in the Bible with the story of Adam and Eve, God told them, don't eat of the tree of good and evil.
Right.
But you can eat of everything else. They even had the tree of eternal life, but they chose the tree of knowledge of good and evil. You know what I'm saying? They were coerced into it by Satan. But think about that. You chose, instead of choosing eternal life, living forever, you want to know everything. You know what I'm saying? And try and completely be like God. You know what I'm saying? Where that's not what our purpose is. We on earth. You know what I'm saying? Our purpose ain't to be like our God in heaven. Our purpose is to fulfill what he has put us on this earth to do. Fulfill us in using our gifts on this earth that he has given us. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, knowledge is good. Knowledge is power, especially when you use it, but you're not supposed to know everything. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to know everything about everything, because sometimes knowing everything about everything can distort what, and knowing everything about everything sometimes is not true.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You could have a wealth of knowledge full of lies.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, me personally, I would just rather focus on, you know what I'm saying, knowing who I am and knowing where I come from, and knowing where I come from when it comes to God. Okay. And then focusing on what I'm here for. You know what I'm saying? Focusing on what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm down here on this earth. Because, like I said, this ain't you, this ain't me. It's a spirit underneath us that's using this body to allow us to be here on this earth so that we can do what we're supposed to do on this earth. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when we die, or when our earthly body goes back into the ground, our spirit is going to go somewhere else. Right. But what you do on earth determines what's going to happen to your spirit once your spirit leaves this earthly body. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, do you want knowledge or do you want eternal life? Eternal life don't mean that we gonna be here and I'm gonna live forever. You know what I'm saying? Eternal life is my spirit is going to live forever. You know what I'm saying? My spirit is going to go to the next level or the next plane. You know what I'm saying? Or wherever it's supposed to go, the next thing that it's supposed to go. But that's determined by what you do here on earth. You feel me?
I feel we wrapping up, but I just want to throw this at you just to see what you think. I feel that the more good things we do adds positive energy to you. And humans and I feel the more bad things we do adds negative energy to you. I feel that humans being made up of more so energy, electricity, with those things that you did adds to your current or doesn't, or mess it up or neutralize it. You know what I'm saying?
Subtraction, yeah. I think
yeah, I believe so. Science geeks help me out. But the more positive things you do, that makes your spirit or the electrical energy, your spirit, lighter. So now you could go to heaven. Or if your dark energy, if that's acted on, and when I say acted on, I mean gravity, that negative energy is more heavy. So that's what bring you down. That's what I believe.
But I also want to say this too, that you know, when we talk about getting into heaven, just doing good deeds here on the earth solely alone will not get you into heaven.
Okay.
Because Jesus says that. Jesus says that you can do as many good deeds as you want to do, but if you're not truly following me with all your heart, soul, spirit, and flesh, then you ain't getting into heaven. I never knew you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and that's what I mean by it getting into heaven is determined, or where our spirit goes after our earthly body dies is determined by what we do here on earth. Are you truly and fully, completely following the word of God while you're here on the earth? You could be doing good deeds, but you could also be doing a little bit of bad here and there, some things that you ain't really supposed to be doing, engaging in certain activities that you're not supposed to be engaging in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that could prevent you, you know what I'm saying, from getting in that.
Okay.
Shortcuts.
It ain't just good deeds. It's more than that, you feel me?
Dang. Nah, I'm just listening.
I say that's all we. I about to say on the end of the note.
Yeah. And you know what? I got a message to the people. Just read. You know what I mean? Because the more you read, the more you, you get knowledge and you get enlightened, and you can dream. You know what I mean?
On me, for real.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah. On me. Well, y'all, look. I didn't want to cut you off, my bad.
Nah, man, I'm in awe. Like, I'm processing everything. Like I say, I'm in school right now, so
Man.
like I say, thanks for having me here because I'm processing everything.
Hey, man. Thank you for being here for the very first show in the studio. Shout out to Big Stu. Shout out to Big Stu Studios.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We just gonna let that run. Thank you for giving us a shot. Thank you for fucking with your boy. You know what I'm saying? We need those.
Yeah.
My man with the plan, always my I don't have any other.
You want to make some rhyme out of that?
Compadre.
I thought you was gonna say right hand man or something like that.
Right, right hand man, compadre. The powwow, the gang, the dynamic duo, the two dudes who have nice socks. I don't know. Do you wear nice socks?
I got on some plain white boys right now.
Don't say that. Okay, that's cool though. But yeah, so again,
Smell
y'all.
good.
Okay.
Smell like gang.
You stepped on deodorant when you came to my house.
I did.
Yeah, you did, man. That's weird. Yeah, once you wipe your shoes off. But again, shout out to Big Stu Studios, man. Hey, again, please like, subscribe. Social media handle?
Man, I'm Jay Garrett. You check me out, the Jay Garrett Show every Sunday from 5 to 6. This Sunday coming up, we're talking about toxic relationships.
Okay.
And abuse. So, man, you check me out. Go back on YouTube, Jay Garrett Show. We got mental awareness, communication skills, and we got emotional IQ.
Okay.
And and we
You'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I just want to give a shout out to you too, dog. Cause
right on.
honestly, man, you don't even know what you're helping me out with right now and what you're giving me the opportunity to do. And I just want to give you a big shout out and big thanks for that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Gabe, don't make me cry. I get emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a long time, man. I've been doing this for 2 years.
I think you sure too? Like 3.
I don't know, man. I remember you had her for the first episode.
I know. I had that in like 2018.
Oh man,
That's
that'd
a little minute
be
ago.
a long time, man.
Yeah.
So from the car to the living room to the
Back to the car. Now we
back,
in here.
yeah, to the studio.
Yeah.
Again, man, we out here. We out here.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Hey man, like God was in the building, and I got some homework to do. I got some homework, so
Hey man.
yeah, straight up.
But again, hey everybody, okay, we signing out right now. I know it's time to go. Okay, look. I'm Artemis Caldwell, founder and CEO of Whois Incorporated, one of the baddest nonprofits out there. If you don't know, now you do know. Join with me, my right hand man, my I just said it, compadre, amigo. I'm still working on the lingo. I ain't Spanish, but you know how I do it.
Yeah, y'all can find me on Instagram at gabe.flips.St. Louis. No dot with the St. Louis. Just find me on there. Just 2 dots. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And everybody, look, Jay Garrett, you know what I'm saying? AKA, I'm going to say it because I like it. Jay the comedian.
Yeah.
Jay, AKA Jayologist. You know what I'm saying? Again, shout out to Big Stu Studios for giving your boy a shot, man.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And we done, right?
Yeah.
Signing out.